Welcome to April day 5 of Vlog Every Day in April. This is Easter Sunday and it's about 3:34 o'clock, no, it's closer to 5 in the afternoon. We had kind of a full day of celebrations, went to church in the morning, was there from about 9:30 until I think we left around 1:32. Then went to brunch with my mom at a really cool restaurant in the area that does like a brunch buffet. So good, really good. It was normally when you go to a brunch, not all the food is good and sometimes it's like overcooked, undercooked. Everything was fantastic. They had like deviled eggs and like roast, prime rib, breakfasty stuff like French toast, salmon. It was just really good. Mimosas flowed freely, so that was also fun. I may have had a mimosa or 3. But why not? It's a holiday. That's something else I kind of wanted to talk about because I am fully aware, and as far as Easter goes and identifying with certain religions and denominations, and Easter comes from the pagan holidays that were co-opted by the Christians that wanted to sort of tie their religion and celebrations into something that people had already understood, in order to preserve their heritage. So, and that's something that I'm kind of vaguely familiar with, but not really. And I'm aware that people identify with different traditions. So I want to be mindful of that when I'm talking about things that are meaningful to me personally. But as far as holidays go, I feel like they're a really great way to sort of mark the passage of time and to commemorate certain events. So for this vlog, I thought I'd talk about where I was this time last year. So April 5th, 2015 versus April 5th, 2014. Interesting, really interesting, because at that time, that's actually the sign behind me. That's my Easter dress that I wore today. And it was really cute. It was cheap and cheerful, maybe 13 bucks in the city. It was a lot of fun, just a way to feel like, springy. But the sign behind me says, what happened 16 months ago that made you want to get out of debt? And along the Dave Ramsey kind of thing, he asks that question to people when they come in to do their debt-free scream. So what happened that made you want to get out of debt? And my reason for that is really closely tied to where I was this time last year. I was going through the worst breakup I had ever experienced before in my life. The single most painful time in my life, including the time my father walked out of my family. So that was going on around this time last year, and I say walking through that, but I was limping through that, like barely moving. Like there were days when, getting out of bed was a victory. Putting on clothes was a victory. Going to work was a victory. If I could just like get myself vertical, that was good. It felt like someone had ripped my arms off and shoved sheet metal through my chest. It was that bad. And I think the reason why it was so painful was because it was a choice that I had made. I had made the choice to be identified with this person, with this guy, and he had so betrayed me and my confidence and my trust. And the thing is, I take full and complete responsibility for my part in that breakup. We just came to a point where he couldn't continue because I had certain non-negotiables, and he was not willing to participate in those. So needless to say, it was an awful, painful, horrible time. And I mean, it hurt to breathe. It hurt for a good month and a half. Some weeks were better than others, some days were better than others, but it was so incredibly painful. And I want to remember that because things happen, things happen. You want things to happen, they don't happen. You hope for certain things and they don't happen. But remembering that you will get through this. You've been through it before and you're going to get through it again is really important. And the way that I marked that was Easter last year was awful. And Easter this year was really calm and joyful. And there were certain, things, again, that you hope for that aren't happening right now, but you kind of walk through them and you kind of take it in view of, in context of the narrative of your life and where you are now versus where you have been in the past. So, and then looking to the future, things that you would like to have happen and the habits and the mindset that you want to put in place to have that, that desire come to fruition, really. And all of it, talking about desires and things that you want, and that does tie into my worldview and my outlook on life. I do identify as Christian, and that's that determines a lot of my actions and my beliefs, is that I do believe that there is a higher power that knows us and loves us and wants the best for us. That is not always pretty, that is not always easy. In fact, that is often never easy. That is not often easy or pretty or pleasant. But I know beyond a shadow, that is something that I know, is that there is a higher power and he does know me and love me and want the best for me. Beyond a shadow of a doubt. So that's how I'm looking at this year in relationship to last year, and then hopefully in regard to the year to come. I realize that I plan these things, and like the whole getting out of debt journey, I plan that, and I do a budget, or I plan a budget, and I am conscious of my savings and or of my spending habits, and I take certain actions, but ultimately I feel like I'm not the decider. I am not ultimately in control. And that's something that's hard to learn. It's really hard to learn and to remember and to live out. But knowing that, it also takes a lot of the stress off, a lot of the weight off. For someone who tends to be a little bit anxious, a little bit high keyed up, it's, if I can breathe and remember that I am not the center of the universe, and I am not the person that makes everything okay, although I want to be. I just live my part. I just show up and do the next right thing. That's a 12-step slogan. So my dad was an alcoholic, or it still is, I guess. And my mom's been in 12 steps for 30 years. And my sister and I kind of grew up in the program as well. So we have that sort of mentality of, I can't, God can, I think I'll let him. And ultimately, just all you can be responsible for is your side of the street and keeping that clean. So that's kind of what I've been thinking about this Easter, and this holiday celebration and this commemoration, I guess, is more what I'm talking about. And I took some footage of our church celebrating, and I'll try to insert that somewhere around here. And you'll see there's a worship leader, and we're kind of like a rockin' church, at least for me, the church is probably one of the best things in my life right now. It has not been easy. It has not been pretty. It has been simple. It's just not been easy. But it's tough to find a community. When you find a community, it's even tougher to find and to fit in there and to find your sort of niche and to keep playing that. Or at least it was for me there, because our church is very type A. There are a lot of very successful, very competent, very intelligent, highly skilled people there. And I look around and I'm like, what am I doing here? But I just keep coming back, and I keep finding like little teeny tiny ways that I can serve and I can be of use and I can be helpful. And that's kind of been the key for me. So watching our church all get together and be joyful together is really rewarding, because I realize that this is something that I've committed to and something that I feel a part of and feel encouraged and strengthened by. So I'm really grateful for that at this time this year. So thank you so much for if you listened through to this whole rambly kind of thing. But that's where I am this Easter Sunday of 2015. And I hope that you are having a wonderful day and enjoying it with people you love. And I thank you again so much for watching, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye-bye.